You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your number one source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith Johnson.
From the AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AfterBuzz TV's Switched at Birth After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV's Switched at Birth After Show.
So sad.
It does not help.
No.
Wow.
Hey, Switch to Birth fans. Welcome to the AfterBuzz TV Switch to Birth After Show.
The most depressing show
Yeah.
on the air.
It's going to be really sad today. We're talking about Angela's death. If you haven't seen it yet, if you don't know what we're talking about, whoops. You shouldn't be watching the after show.
No.
So we're just going to jump right into it. Last episode ended with Angelo in the hospital after a car accident. Wow, that was so sad. This music is killing me. And we start the episode with a flashback 15 years ago, Regina remembering when Angelo left, which we found out was mostly her fault.
Right, I actually thought he abandoned her.
But no, she told him
To leave. Yeah.
So up until this point, we've been blaming him, and it was her fault. We start the episode finding out that he's out of surgery. He's in the ICU. He's stable. Everything's
And he's
fine.
going to be okay.
Yeah, he's going to be great. And of course, there's a turn for the worst, and he dies. So we're just going to go through and talk about how everyone took the accident and the death and everything. So we're going to start with John and Catherine, who are not taking it as hard as everybody else.
No, they were actually very nonchalant about it.
Well, I mean, they're not as attached, I guess. Mm-hmm. But John does feel guilty because we see a police officer shows up to talk to Regina about what happened, and he tells him that it may have been a suicide attempt.
Yes.
Which makes John remember what had just happened. Do you want to talk about it?
Nope.
Okay. So
Melina's not dealing with this death very well. I haven't gone through the 7 steps of grieving yet.
Okay.
So just bear with me.
All right.
Okay.
So Angelo had asked John for a loan for the restaurant because, as we know, the restaurant was closing. And John, of course, didn't give it to him because John has been against Angelo from the beginning.
Yes. From
Which
day one.
thankfully was pointed out to him, and that maybe it was a suicide. I mean, he did lose all his money after winning the lawsuit. He found out that his wife didn't cheat on him, but you know, he did abandon his children. He is going out of business in the restaurant. He thinks that Regina is cheating on him now, and so maybe he did try to kill himself.
When the cops made that statement, did you think for a moment that maybe he did commit suicide?
For a moment, maybe, but it just is so out of character.
It's so out of character, and I felt with Bay and Daphne, he would never. I just couldn't.
Right.
I just couldn't see that happening. He did seem like a selfish person, yes, but not that selfish.
Yeah, he's a fighter. I mean, we saw with Abby, his other baby, that he is a fighter. He will fight for what he wants, and I feel like he wouldn't kill himself. He would fight.
I think so too. So okay, so we both eliminated that at that point.
I mean, it crossed my mind when they said it,
but then it went out.
but then it went away.
Okay, good.
So John and Catherine, they're trying to help out. I love that Catherine goes and gets whatever Regina needs and is trying to help out and is being a good, supportive woman.
It was strange to me when John is telling her that he, maybe he can ask that one doctor for a favor and then they can transfer him to a different hospital. And she's like, why are you acting this way?
Right.
And I thought, what other way would you want him to act? You want him calling all the hospitals to see if there was... I thought it was perfectly normal behavior until she said that. And then I thought about it and I thought, why wouldn't he act that way?
Well, I think what happened was he was looking for different doctors to give him a different diagnosis.
Right.
And he found out that there is none. And so John says, we'll move him to this other hospital where he
Right.
can be comfortable.
Yeah.
She was surprised that he wanted to keep him on life support.
Oh, okay.
Not so much that he was calling for second opinions.
Okay, I understand now. Yeah, I thought she was just surprised that he was going out of his way to place him,
Right.
you know, get a second opinion.
I think he was going out of his way to find him a place to live, air quotes, comfortably after his brain death.
Okay.
He was going out of his way because he felt guilty.
Okay. See, that makes more sense now.
So, yes.
Okay.
Do you have something you
Hey, I
want to say?
smiled.
Oh, look at that.
Oh my gosh, you guys, I smiled.
I don't know
Yay.
about the people listening, but we are really taking this death really hard. We didn't expect it, that's for sure.
Nope.
I thought he would be in a coma and then wake up.
Yep.
I didn't think we'd be losing him.
I didn't think we'd be losing him, and I didn't think they would dedicate the entire episode and make it so freaking dramatic. Ha!
And heartbreaking.
I mean, my heart literally tore. And I just watched it for people listening. This is why this is. Oh, hi, Maria.
Oh, Maria just
It's
fell.
Nana. We love your cookies.
It was cake.
Oh, it was cake. We love your cake,
Yeah.
Nana. So I thought it was pretty nice to see John kind of go out of character to help someone out. He's not really the most giving person. And then he makes the statement of Angelo came to see him, asked for a loan, and not only did he say no, inside of his head he said, and you deserve it, or something about Angelo losing all his money.
Yeah.
And so he was kind of dealing with that guilt of being that type of person that would think that.
Yeah.
Granted, he didn't know Angelo was going to die,
Right.
obviously. But I mean, I don't know. Did you think that thought deserves such a guilt?
I think the last thing you'd say to someone before they die is going to cause you guilt no matter what, unless it's, you're the greatest and I love you.
True.
Unless that's what it is, no matter what you say, you're going to end up with this guilt. And that's
You're right.
just how it is.
Well, you're the greatest, and I love you.
Thanks.
I think we should just do
Say that to everyone?
from this moment on.
Okay.
This death really hit me really hard.
It was a heartbreaking scene.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Daphne, who is there. Everybody's there at the hospital, but Regina reminds us that it is the morning of the SATs, and Daphne needs to retake them if she's planning on going to med school. And he's stable,
Yes.
and it makes sense that they said to go, that Regina suggested it, and that she went. Do you think she was being selfish by going?
No, only because she didn't want to go. It wasn't, oh crap, my SATs, I need to go. It was more so, no, I don't want to go. I'm going to stay here.
Yeah.
And Regina used that one card of this is what he would have wanted.
Which is true.
Which is true because she didn't know he was going to die, obviously.
Yeah.
So let's say he did come back, right? Let's say he was better after a week, and then he found out that she didn't take her SATs.
And it was her last chance.
He would have been pretty upset.
Yeah.
So I don't think she was being selfish. She even put up a fight when she got to the school and they wanted to take her cell phone away. And I think in the real world, Regina had a point. Your life continues, but it continues differently.
Yeah.
It doesn't continue the same way. You don't just jump back into everything. So when I saw her sitting there and her phone started flashing, I'm so glad she had that on, because I was thinking, this teacher's not going to answer the phone if it starts going off. So I was glad she was able to see it.
I just wish she would have told the lady,
It's my dad.
no, just look, I'm waiting. She said there's a family emergency. I need my phone. He's in the hospital. I get that. She should have said to her, fine, you can have it. This is what you need to look out for. If the number goes up, if they say the number is up or whatever,
Yeah.
then you need to tell me.
I agree, actually.
I think that would have been, because that's the same thing as having the phone in your pocket. It's just that you don't physically have the phone. The reason the phone was taken away is because you're taking the SATs and they don't want you to cheat.
Yeah. You know what? That's great. They should have done that. But it added to the drama
Oh, it totally did.
of that decision that she had to make. Am I going to finish the SATs, or am I going to answer this phone and see what it is?
Regardless of the phone ringing or not, she was not going to be able to focus on the SATs
No.
anyway.
I don't think she would have
It
done
would
well.
have, yeah, no, it was, it sucks that she had to go, because if she wouldn't have gone, she would have wished that she had gone. But
Right.
it was a waste anyway.
It was a complete waste.
It was unnecessary.
It was. And then she got the text.
And then she goes back to the hospital, where, of course, Bae yells at her.
Of course.
We'll get into Bae and how she's dealing with this. And I love that they have this, Bae and Daphne both have this fantasy of what the future would be like with Angelo in it.
Right.
It was beautiful and heartbreaking. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
And so she sees him with her, getting ready to walk her down the aisle.
Yeah.
And it was just such an amazing scene.
It was.
It was so beautiful. She looked amazing.
She did.
I just, for a split second, was like, oh, is that what Katie's going to wear to her wedding in September?
No, she's going to be wearing something
Much prettier.
much more expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was beautiful. And it's funny. I think why I'm taking this so hard is because I have pretty close to the same story as they do. Like, I didn't get reunited with my dad until much later. I have two dads. I have my biological one and one that I grew up with. And the relationship I have with my biological one is very similar to the ones both of those girls have with Angelo. And I'm like, to see him go, it was so
Really
hard. But the advice he gave her was beautiful. That, you're never going to be sure of it. Same thing with being a doctor. So she became a doctor in her fantasy, which is nice.
It's nice.
Aw. And that she's going to be the most beautiful bride walking down the aisle, and that if he makes you smile, makes you happy, makes you feel like the most amazing woman in the world, then he's the one.
Yeah.
God, this is sad.
Yeah, it's really sad.
Wow, okay.
Saddest podcast ever.
Ever.
So, unfortunately, when Daphne gets back to the hospital, she reads the doctor's lips.
Loved that scene.
And he says that he's brain dead.
Didn't love that delivery.
No.
I'm not going to lie. I was just like, this was the cheesiest, most ridiculous thing ever. But she's standing there with Bae and...
Emmett.
Oh, Emmett, that's right. I was going to say Toby. You're right, it was Emmett. And she's getting drilled for the SATs for going.
Yeah.
Which I think was expected. Somebody was...
Right, and it was very clearly going to be Bae.
Clearly. And I think... Yeah, it was horrible. She read his lips. And at first I thought it was... She recognized the doctor from something. Because she was just staring at him. And I was like, oh no. She read his lips and it wasn't good. Yeah, very, very sad moment to the realization that...
Yeah.
Oh, that he's dead.
It was very amazing that Emmett was there. I think there was a really nice parallel between Bae and Regina, who we'll get to in a moment, that their reactions, the way they took things, were very similar.
Very.
Which I love.
Absolutely.
But the doctor says the most humane thing you can do is take him off the ventilator, that he is gone, and that the only thing keeping him is the machines.
Right.
And he suggests organ donation, which is such a big topic and such a, important decision to make. And I think we will get into that in a second. I want to take a quick second. I'm sorry to interrupt, to talk about iTunes. Guys, this is very weird to do, but as you know, we love this show. Clearly, we care a lot about these characters in the show, and we want to keep doing the after show. And the thing that you can do to help us is to rate and review us on iTunes. If you like our show, give us 5 stars. If you don't like our show, give us 4 stars. And leave comments letting us know what we can do better. Hopefully there won't be more really heartbreaking episodes like this one.
There will be.
There will be. It's a dramatic show. But let us know what we're doing well, what we can do better. And we want to give a shout out to our Twitter followers. We have 1 Twitter follower today. This is your shout out day for Switched at Birth Fan 97, who is always tweeting at us.
Always.
And we appreciate it.
We really do. Amazing, amazing fan.
Yeah. So back to the most depressing episode of Switched at Birth yet. Let's talk about Bae.
Can we make a drink? Is that possible?
We're going to go get drinks after.
Okay. Well, boy, oh boy, this is heavy.
So Bae is actually sitting with Angelo, talking about Paris, talking about French and how he needs to teach her and be her tour guide in Paris. And he squeezes her hand as the number spikes. And the doctors come in. and he's gone. Bae feels so helpless that she donates blood, which is a great thing to do. People
Yes,
donate
please
blood.
donate your blood.
And has this amazing daydream or fantasy about Angelo with her as she's giving birth to twins. Yeah. And we don't know. I love that in both scenarios there's no father or husband.
Right.
I love that.
Got to
It's
keep it open.
just them and him.
Yeah.
And that's beautiful.
It is beautiful. And I thought it was, I mean, obviously it's Bae's fantasy,
Mm-hmm.
right? It wasn't necessarily like a random dream. It was very specific to everything that was going on. But there was no Daphne. There was no Regina. There was no Catherine. It was just her and her dad.
Yeah.
Again, another beautiful father-daughter moment of him helping her breathe through her labor pains.
And speaking French.
And speaking French. So apparently she got better, I think, hopefully.
She clearly understood him.
And it's cute because, you know, she didn't look like she aged a day, but I think and then they made him look much older.
Oh, yeah.
So it was kind of funny. I was like, wait a minute. But very sweet moment. I'm done. I'm hurting here.
Well, she wakes up to Emmett, who is there for her, which is wonderful. I love that she woke up to Emmett. I thought she was going to wake up to John.
Really?
I thought it was going to be that she woke up saying Dad, and then it was John, and she thought it was Angelo. That's what I thought was going to happen.
Oh my gosh, that would have been so awful.
I know.
I couldn't have handled that.
That's where I thought they were going.
Oh, I couldn't have handled that.
Luckily, it was Emmett,
It was Emmett.
who is trying to help her through it because he's great.
He is great.
He is great. And they decide to go after Daphne suggests the organ donation. Bae yells at her and says, "You don't know anything about him. He's not even your dad." Oh my goodness. Most heartbreaking moment. So Bae and Emmett go to Angelo's home apartment to find his mother's phone number. And instead they find his last will and testament. Yes? You look like you have something you want to say.
Well, here's the thing.
Yes.
All right. So they go to his apartment to look for the address book. Bae finds it.
Yeah.
Hooray, Bae. And then Emmett comes with the testament. I should turn my phone on vibrate. But that was Twitter, so I'm kind of excited. And he, I don't know, I just didn't feel like, I don't know, I just didn't feel like it was their place to open it. I didn't think they should have looked at it. And
Why wouldn't it have
agreed-
been their place?
Well, one, because they were at his, I don't know, it was Angelo's apartment. I don't know. I was with Bae. Put
he's
it back.
dying.
Pretend like it didn't happen.
He's dying, and those are the papers you need when someone is dying to know what they want.
Right, but no adult has brought it up yet, apparently, which is random.
Yeah,
the doctors.
That's weird that no adults.
Right.
Right.
So, I don't think Bae, I just didn't, when she said just, we'll put it back and we'll pretend like we were never here, I was like, okay. That sounds like a good plan.
That means that she's going to go back to the hospital and someone's going to say, no, this is what he would have wanted. And she's going to go, no, I don't think so. And it would just cause all this drama. He's
That's true.
dying.
I know.
He's not making it, is what we've been told. They found proof of what he literally says, this is what I want.
Yeah.
There's no, I think that Emmett was right to say, no, we have to take this and show it to Regina.
I don't know.
Emmett is the adult in that relationship for sure.
I know. And I'm very much like Bae. So that's probably why I think you should just put it back, pretend it wasn't there. I mean, like, it just happened. It just happened. Can't we give him a week?
Well, as we find out from the lady from the organ donation, time is of the essence.
Time is of the essence because they're going to pull the plug. They didn't need to do it that quickly.
Time is of the essence because the organs will not last and they won't be able to be donated.
But I thought as long as his heart was pumping blood through them, they would...
Yeah, but eventually, so the machine was keeping his heart going.
Right.
But eventually, so they couldn't just keep him there at this hospital
I gotcha.
on a machine.
I forget that there's politics involved.
And
you can't just keep people alive.
You just can't keep them at a hospital forever taking up space.
Dang it. All right, so you think it was the right decision. I think she should have sabotaged it all and just kept him alive for one more week.
I think what they did was smart. That they take the Well, they show Regina and they talk about organ donation, which is great because I like what the doctor said, which was that, you can keep a part of him alive. But also what Daphne says, they could save so many lives. They listed off organs that they're going to use to save other people. So we lost one and it's heartbreaking, but he saved a handful of more people.
I know. That's a very logical, beautiful way to look at it. I cannot. The way I look at it, and if that was my dad, I wouldn't want, and I know it's selfish, I know, because the right thing would be to do what they did on this episode, but I wouldn't want an inch of his skin touched. I wouldn't want things being taken off. I can't even think about it. All right. This is very difficult for me. I just wouldn't be able to do that.
I mean,
it's so difficult.
Bae even says that she yells at Daphne that you want to strip him like car parts.
Yeah, and that's how I would feel. Even though the right thing, I mean, you can't say the right or wrong thing in that situation because it's somebody's personal choice.
Yes.
However, one life for, 10, 15 is a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
It's a tough episode.
It is.
So when we're talking to the woman about the organ donation, she says, "Oh, we can't use the kidneys. They were damaged because he had an aneurysm, which is what caused him to go off the road." And then we find out that it was because of stress or anxiety or severe anger.
Wait, did you say anger?
Yes.
Daphne's face, the moment when she said anger, she's like, wait, did you say anger? Her face was just death and anger and just,
Do you mean that if the moments before he was very, very angry, that could have caused it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Moving on. No. Daphne wanted.
Yeah, Daphne and Regina. Let's talk about Regina for a second. Regina is very much like Bae, impulsively emotional, not thinking about the situation logically, is freaking out and upset, understandably, is reflecting on her time with Angelo, whereas the others were fantasizing about what a future with him would be like. Regina is reflecting on what it was like.
Yeah.
And it's heartbreaking.
It is heartbreaking. We find out that, like we mentioned before, she's the reason for the season, why he left. And then we find out that she was too stubborn and hard-headed to ever tell him about the switch, which would have fixed everything, hopefully.
And that she spent time away from him basically on purpose, and it was her fault.
And it's, I've met... And there's people in my family, so I can speak truthfully. I've met Latinas who hold on to a grudge for decades when it involves family. And then at the end of the day, and when I mean the end of the day is when things like this happen, there's just so much regret for pushing people away and not letting them back in their lives, and especially when it's family, like that. And it was really hard to see her go through those emotions.
Yeah.
Of being really feeling guilty. I thought it was beautifully played, her sitting there in the hospital room, and it's the voiceovers coming in of her and Angelo having discussions. I think it's beautiful when she recaps him going into the elevator, except this time he comes out.
Yeah.
That was
and
beautiful.
She apologized. That was so heart-wrenching.
And it could have been that. And that's the thing. I mean, it could have. Could have, would have, should have. I don't know. I think this episode really, I just hope it tugged on everyone's heart to just be more appreciative of the now.
Yeah.
And really heal relationships that are broken now and not wait until something like this happens to really be fully healed in all these different relationships.
Well, it was really a beautiful scene to see Catherine and Regina on the bench, and Catherine wanting to pray. And not only praying for Angelo, but praying for Regina's strength.
Right.
Beautiful scene.
It was a beautiful scene. And I loved when she said, I don't want to be one of those people that only pray when something's wrong or when they need someone. And she said, well, if one of my kids were in trouble, I would want them to reach out to me even if they didn't believe in me.
Yeah.
And I thought that was beautiful.
That's beautiful.
And I never knew Catherine to be such a spiritual woman, but it
I
was
mean,
nice.
I expected her
Right.
to be.
It's been insinuated maybe, but I've never seen it like this. I've never seen her pull out a Bible. I've never seen her really pray before.
Right.
So, but in times like this, I mean,
Yeah.
it's been documented throughout time. You know, even atheists will cry out at the end just because, I mean, it's, what do you do
Yeah.
when you're pushed against the wall like that? It's tough. It's really tough. So, yeah, beautiful scene. All of it was just so beautiful.
Such a heartbreaking
Yeah.
episode.
It's tough,
Ugh.
man.
So we find out that this is what happens, and they go to make their goodbyes, and Bae calls Angela's mother in France.
And tells her she loves her cake.
Yeah.
No. I thought it was so interesting because the grandmother sounded so young.
She sounded so young. I was thinking that same thing. There's
Wow.
I think
Did she get the girlfriend?
just to take us outside of the
Depression?
show, I feel like they just found someone who speaks French.
I think so too.
And that they have not cast her, and I think that we will meet her, but we'll save that for predictions.
Yes.
Bae calls her and tells her what happened, and then she wants to talk to him, and so Bae holds up the phone, and she says her goodbyes, which just in a technical sense of what that scene looked like doesn't make sense to me, that she held up the phone to his ear, because she doesn't know when she's done.
That entire scene did not make sense to me.
Speak.
I am the mother. Okay, I got really upset at this scene. Okay, I'm in France. My son is dead. He's on life support. Guess what? You can keep him on life support for 48 more hours for me to come and say my proper goodbyes, to be with the family, to be with my granddaughters. I don't think, as much as Angelo talked about his mother, of how close they were, I just don't see how that's humanly possible that she'd be like, oh, okay, well, let me say goodbye to him over the phone. I just don't, I'm not buying it. I think they could have kept him alive, but no, they had to kill him off this episode right now. Okay, I'm done. I'm going through the 7 steps,
Yeah,
you know?
it's fine.
I'm at anger right now.
I see that.
Okay.
So, I think that whole scene was weird. I agree that she could come, but okay. So they eventually pull him mostly off life support, keep him breathing so that they can harvest the organs. That sounds so terrible, because they're gonna save lives. And they say goodbye to him, which was heart-wrenching. And then we see everyone walks out, and Regina turns to Daphne and says, "Are you okay?" And Daphne says, "This is all your fault." Don't, Melina.
I'm trying to keep it together. It's not happening.
Stop crying. For those of you who are watching, Melina is crying.
Okay, you guys. Sorry, I'm trying to keep it together. Just shake it off.
You can't, because if you cry, I'll cry.
I know, okay.
So,
Yes.
Daphne, of course, blames Regina.
Yes.
And I want to talk about that. Because I see why we would believe that, because he was angry.
Yes.
And anger was part of it. But he was also so stressed through, as we said, the reasons we thought that he might have killed himself, because he lost all the money and he couldn't support his family and he couldn't keep the business open. And so there was so much stress on top of it that I think, do I think the fight pushed him over the edge? Probably. But I think that he was stressed and it was going to happen anyway.
I agree. I think the aneurysm was going to happen anyway. Granted, it could have happened
In like 20 years?
in 20 years.
Yeah.
It could have happened in a week in the presence of people who could have called 911 immediately. Because I don't think the brain aneurysm killed him, did it? I think him going off the road, crashing, and then having brain hemorrhages.
I think the brain aneurysm severely injured him
I agree.
in a way that could kill him. An aneurysm could kill you.
Absolutely. Especially when you veer off the road.
But even if you're surrounded by people who can call 911.
True. That is true. We'll never know.
Yeah.
Will we? ABC family. So I think that her blaming her mother is the only natural thing
Yeah.
for a young girl, even an older girl, to do. If I was in that situation, yeah, I would probably blame everyone. So, no, it's not. I mean, obviously we can look at it and go, well, obviously it's not Regina's fault. He was yelling at her too.
Yeah, there was a fight.
There was a fight.
Takes two people to fight.
It really does. And had that fight happened today, had it happened in a year from now, the way they reacted is just the way that they're going to react. She's going to defend herself. He's going to accuse her of cheating. She's going to defend herself. I mean, there was nowhere for that to go other than like a normal fight, and then he leaves.
Yeah.
And it's just sad that that's what happened.
I'm going to say that the thing that surprised me the most,
What?
because what they seem to have forgotten since the show started, is that Regina's an alcoholic.
Right.
At no point in this episode did she say, God, I would kill for a drink.
You know, it's funny. When she was sitting, I don't remember. Oh, it was when she was sitting and the voiceovers were coming on. She was getting the flashback. That was my thought. I was like, man, is she going to become an alcoholic again?
Yeah.
Because how are you going to deal with this?
How is she not drinking?
I don't know.
And not saying anything, not saying I need a meeting, not saying I need my sponsor, nothing.
Nothing.
Have we forgotten that she
I
has an
haven't.
alcohol problem?
Have you?
No.
Have the listeners?
I doubt it. I think the writers might have.
Yeah, I think so too. It's
Yeah.
funny how they forget things. Yeah, we don't.
No.
So it'll be, if she doesn't go back to drinking, I think it'll be very strange and bizarre.
Even if she doesn't have to drink, she has to bring it up, though.
Yeah, that this is causing. If she doesn't bring it up, though, don't you think that's just going to lead her to drink?
Right.
She needs to talk about it.
Yeah.
Regina, you can call us at. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. At AfterBuzz, there's a phone number.
There is.
Yeah.
She could. We gotta get her in. We gotta counsel her through this.
Yeah. I think we've covered everyone.
Have we?
I mean, Toby was also there.
No, that was it. Toby was there.
He was
Well,
helpful. He was the one texting Daphne.
I thought it was strange that he saw the numbers spiking, right? They're going up. He leaves, and
He doesn't tell Bay.
or doctors, because it took a long time. It wasn't until this alarm started
Yeah.
going off that doctors came. So what the heck did he go do? Like go to a
texted.
payphone?
No,
Where was his phone?
in his pocket. He was letting Bay have a moment.
To what? Freak out because there's sounds now?
At that time, Bay was talking to Angelo about going
That's
to
right.
Paris.
That's right. I don't know.
I agree that Toby should have gone to get a doctor and then texted Daphne,
Or both.
or both at once. Sure, guys can't multitask.
No,
I hear.
apparently. No, especially Toby.
Yeah, Toby.
He's the weak league. Poor guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. On that note, I want to remind our listeners this is such an awkward thing to do after, such a hard episode. We are doing a giveaway.
Yay.
Whoa. We're giving away
It is an awesome giveaway.
It is an awesome giveaway. It's an ABC Family fan for the summer.
It's been
Yeah.
hot.
It has been.
Yes.
It also can dry your tears.
Oh.
Yeah.
Aw.
It's the Sign the Alphabet ABC Family Switch to Birth cards.
That's right.
And Catherine's book. That's right. Catherine wrote a book, and we have it here.
Have you read it?
I have not yet read it.
Woman.
I'm very excited to read it.
Yes.
So to enter the giveaway, you need to follow both of us on Twitter and Instagram, and then submit a photo on Instagram using the hashtag ABTVSAB, which is AfterBuzz TV Switch to Birth. Describing the photo, and the description should describe why you love Switch to Birth. And you can only submit once. There are rules and info all on our Instagram. We'll give you that info in a second. That's the giveaway. I think it's time we move into predictions.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
All right. Without crying, can you tell us your predictions?
Ha. Ha. Yes, I can tell you my predictions. I'm going to stop watching Switched at Birth forevermore. No, I'm not. I so love it. Well, we see, in the previews, it shows that Daphne freaks out.
Yeah.
Which I'm so happy. I mean, I don't want them to spiral down this, how does that saying go?
I don't know. I
Okay,
don't
well,
speak
anyway,
English.
I don't want her to spiral. And, but at the same time, it's just realistic, and that's what would happen. I read an interview with Mr. Angelo today, which was a fantastic interview.
With Gilles Marini.
Yes, I call him Giles.
It's not Giles.
I know.
Gilles.
Because he's French.
Yeah, you should tweet out the article.
I will tweet out the article.
Great.
I definitely will. One thing that I will tie it with my predictions is that it was almost like he became a martyr to allow for more drama. Mm-hmm. So he said we're going to see a lot more drama in the show with the girls and certain decisions that they're making. Mm-hmm. It didn't really show much about Bay, so I definitely think Daphne is going to rebel against Regina.
Yeah.
All day, every day. Mm-hmm. And obviously she rebels, it seems like, in almost every aspect of her life.
Yeah.
But I don't really know what to expect from Bay. I
the
don't
trailer
know.
had a Tank Emmett meeting.
Well, I've been waiting for this meeting since the day they broke up. So I don't know where Tank comes from, why he
looked like a bar.
But why? Okay. Anyway, drama. We need to add to it. So there's going to be a fight, finally.
Awesome. I think that, as we said, Daphne is definitely hurting and spiraling, and I think that her anger towards Regina is just going to grow. I am excited to see her rebel and act out, because it's really common that when someone loses a parent or a family member, they start, rebelling.
Yes.
Because you got to find a way to get your feelings out.
That's right.
I think there's definitely going to be a fight between Tank and Emmett. And
what about Regina?
I think if they don't bring up her drinking, I think that is a missed opportunity from the show, because alcoholism is an ongoing problem.
Ongoing.
She has to deal with every day, and I think that drinking is definitely going to come back. Or at least somebody should be concerned about it.
Something.
Yeah.
I know. I don't know.
I think Daphne is going to look at some schools, but I think that she is going to...
Abandon?
I think she's not going to get into medical school or to pre-med programs.
Oh, no.
That's what I think is going to happen.
I was hoping more so she was going to choose not to and go in the way of being a chef, to follow in her daddy's footsteps.
To go back to her original plan of being a chef?
Yeah.
Maybe.
But...
Yes.
I don't know. I could see her not getting in because she didn't take the second test. Can I just say something?
Yeah.
I think you look lovely today.
Thank you.
I do.
Thanks. I will tell you all about where you can get information about my look. But first, Melina, tell the people where they can find you.
You can find me, and I'm usually a much happier person, so my comments are usually pretty upbeat. You can find me on Twitter at Melina TV, same as Facebook, same as Instagram.
Awesome. You can find me online at yael.tv. That's YAEL.tv, and there you'll find info about the beautiful stylings from Siren's Boudoir. You can also find me on Twitter and Instagram, which you will need for the contest, at Yael Tygiel. That's YAELTYGIEL. And we will see you next week for another Switch to Birth. Yay!
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.